Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Love of Business podcast at prconnectionsradio.com, the voice of new media. My name is Maria Miko Faith, and I will be your host today. It is my pleasure to introduce Dianna Whitley. Welcome.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you for having me here. It's very exciting, and I love the topic of your podcast.
Well, let's dive right in. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Okay. I'm a hypnotherapist and a coach. I also do this crazy thing called tapping, which even when I was first introduced to it, I thought it sounded nuts and woo-woo. And all I know is I've taught it to 7,000 people, and it works. And it works incredibly. Hypnosis has been around for thousands of years, and that also works. And it's interesting because actually everyone has already been hypnotized. They just don't realize it. Every time they saw an ad that repeated over and over again, or a movie that they got really pulled into, or even a book that they're reading where it's really real, that's a trance state. And that trance state is actually very good for people because we live, as everyone knows, in a super stressful world. That was true before COVID. Now it's true 10 times over. Even for people that are dealing with it very well, it's the water. We're fish swimming in stressful water. And so every time you're in hypnosis, it's very similar to meditation, where you calm down, your nervous system goes, we're getting a break here. We don't have to worry. We don't have to be vigilant. We don't have to look out for things. And so it's such a relaxing state. And most people don't know how to relax that well, unless they do something specific, like a sport that relaxes them. But they don't just know how to relax. So it's a very healthy thing to do.
So what about like watching TV, watching shows? Is that a form of hypnosis? Is that?
If you're involved in it, yes, absolutely. I don't know if you've ever been sitting and watching a TV show, or more likely a movie or a series. Maybe someone walks into the room and says something to you and you don't even hear them. Or maybe they say something, you sort of hear them, but you're so engrossed. Or a movie or something where the dog dies or something happens to a child and you start crying. There was no real dog in your life. There was no real child, and but you feel it just like it really happened.
Right.
It's a trance.
Right. Yeah. That's really interesting to note because, like you said, I'm sure a lot of us don't think of ourselves as being under hypnosis.
Some of the time. Example would be if you get in your car to go somewhere, you've been there a lot before, suddenly you're there and you don't remember getting there. As opposed to when you first learned to drive a car, you had to think about everything. You had to really concentrate and focus. And then if it was a new place, you had to focus on the directions because all of that was in your conscious mind. But then when it goes down to the subconscious mind, which is what's running the show most of the time, you can go there without even thinking about it. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. It does. It does. Because then it's by feel, it's by rote almost.
Yeah. Like birds migrate. How do they do that?
Just instinct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can we go back to tapping? Can you explain a little bit about what that is for people who don't know?
Sure. The official name for it is the Emotional Freedom Techniques. It was put together by Roger Callahan many years ago, and then Gary Craig came along and simplified it. You used to have to use a book this thick and all these different things, and Gary simplified it beautifully, and then other people have taken it from there. It's based on the acupressure points that have been used for thousands of years also, and certain things that you say while you tap on these points. And as I said, it sounded a little crazy to me, even though I had no trouble with acupressure points. But the fact that you could do the things that this guy was telling me you could do, let me back up. I had centers in California, very successful centers with thousands of clients. It was working very well. And this friend called and said, I want to show you this. I want to show your clients this thing called tapping. And he told me, you tap and all this happens, all these miraculous things. And I'm going, oh my God, please. It's enough to ask people to believe in hypnosis. Besides which, things are working. Why would I want to rock the boat with this crazy thing? Well, he wouldn't let it alone. And he kept at it and kept calling me. And finally, I agreed to have him in for a class. And when he taught people, and when I saw them let go of things that usually would take a long time to let go of, I was blown away. And then I kept in touch with people to see if it really had gone away. And I got more and more impressed. And now, as I said, I've taught it to over 7,000 people.
So basically, it's a technique where you tap on different acupressure points and you release tension or stories, trauma that has been built up in that area of the body.
See how intuitive you are? Yes, you can let go of fear, anxiety, stress, sadness. You name a negative emotion, you can get rid of it. You can 100%, never seen it not happen. Sometimes it'll come back, but then you can get rid of it again and over time, because things do work by repetition, especially in the brain. When it comes to physical things, pain, allergies, stuff like that, I'm going to guess that it works maybe 70% of the time. With no rhyme or reason. It can be pain they've had for years that releases like that. After they've tried everything. Or it can be, no one really understands exactly. It's like electricity. We know how to use it. We know good and bad ways to use it. We don't necessarily understand it.
Right.
Completely.
That's fascinating. I know that I've read that we store a lot of our stories in the fascia, in the connective tissue of the body, and I wonder if there's something related to that with the tapping as well.
I don't know about the fascia, but I do know that we store it in our cells. Our cells have memories, and it sounds like you probably know that recently they've discovered that there are every bit as many nervous system and emotional systems that go on in the stomach as in the brain. In fact, maybe probably more. And that it's like a second brain. So,
yes.
Yeah, we store a lot of stuff in every cell and fiber of our beings. And we don't know it.
Right. And so then swimming back around to hypnotherapy, what that, I want to talk a little bit about what the experience is, because I know that there's a popular culture concept that goes around about, where people are afraid of the experience. But like you said, we are under hypnosis some of the time, and we don't even realize it.
Yeah, it's a totally natural state, but people are afraid of it because of Hollywood and stage hypnosis. And that's what they know about hypnosis. And so they're afraid that I might take control of their mind, which I can't do. I can only help them to get control of their mind. They're afraid that they might reveal things. That might be true of some hypnotherapists. I don't work that way. I get very clear with the person before as to what they want to create. Most people know what they don't want, not what they want. So we get really clear on what they want. And then I create that for them in hypnosis. And they're just listening at that point. They're not divulging family secrets. They're not talking at all. And the way I explain it to people is it's kind of like practicing and rehearsing the life that you'd like to have on the deepest possible level. And that rehearsal becomes reality.
Wow.
Yeah. And that is what most people say at the end of their first session and many sessions after that. They open their eyes and they go, wow. That is the most common thing people say.
So you must love your business.
I do.
Can you tell me a little bit about how you maintain your love for business?
Well, I think for everyone, whether it's business or life itself, we have to stay connected to the things that make us happy. And when we're happy, first of all, we make other people happy. Mm-hmm. It's contagious. Energy is felt. And it becomes the bedrock that everything comes from. So whether it's your relationships or your business, if you're coming from a place of feeling good, and feeling good about yourself, not just feeling good. Like, it's important to connect to things that you love, whether it's hiking or movies or reading or your family or dogs, whatever. But it's also really important, vitally important, to love yourself and to have a sense of deservingness that your business can skyrocket. And most people don't have that. And it's a hard thing for them to admit that they don't have, even to themselves. It's not a comfortable thing to even, admit to the mirror. Oh, I'm not so sure I love myself. Well, we have no trouble saying, oh, you stupid idiot, you shouldn't have done that to yourself. And of course, the mind takes everything in and goes, oh, then we must be a stupid idiot. I guess we can't do anything. And then that plays out. I think I wandered off, though. What was your question? How do you keep the love of your business?
How do you keep the love for your business? And you were saying basically you have to keep a love for yourself. So that will be my next question.
How do you keep the love for yourself?
Yes.
That can be a tall order because the sad truth is most people don't. Mm-hmm. Whether it's our upbringing or our culture or whatever. Again, when I had these centers in California, I was in places like Beverly Hills, Northern California, Orange County, places where you'd think people have amazing lives, which they do, and that they would be very happy and love themselves. And you would be wrong. And I saw a wide range of people, all different kinds of professions, no professions, background, all kinds of things. That is the core problem for most people, not having enough of a sense of deservingness and love for yourself. And that takes different things for different people. And some of them are things that sound crazy, like looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, I love you. You wouldn't think that would, it sounds like another woo-woo thing, but it's actually very powerful, especially if you do it a lot and if you play with it and have fun with it.
You can even tell how powerful it is by how much hesitation it takes to actually go ahead and do it. It's like on some level, that things are about to change.
Yeah. And that's another really interesting point. As much as we want change, we want to create the life we want, the business we want, the money we want. Something in us that goes back thousands of years, it's in our genetics, doesn't like change because it's not safe. We don't know the outcome. And so back when we were in caves, we kept to our tribe. We were hyper vigilant. You had to look out for the snakes and the tigers. And you did things the way the tribe did them and you didn't change. So now every time we're about to change, it kind of sends our nervous system into high alert. We want it, but we don't want it. I want to stop smoking, but I'm not so sure I do. I want to lose weight, but I don't know. So we have very mixed feelings and it runs deep. And that's where hypnosis comes in. You go right to the core.
Wow. So do you find, do you have a lot of business owners who come in to have hypnotherapy with you, to get clarity on their business or to make progress?
Two things there. You said come in. Mm-hmm. I don't see people in person anymore. I actually stopped before COVID because I realized I knew people all over the country and people internationally. So I started doing everything on Zoom a while ago. So nobody comes in anymore except into my living room here by Zoom. And this is perfect for business people because almost all business people have certain things like procrastination, lack of confidence in certain areas, whether it's speaking in public or technology or whatever. They have areas that they're not confident in. Most entrepreneurs aren't very good at following up. And they have their own imposed glass ceiling from their own imposed limiting beliefs that they've been carrying around forever. So all of that is perfect ground for hypnosis and for tapping and coaching. And luckily I do all three.
Wow. Okay. Cool. So say I was going to work with you on all three. What would that look like?
You mean all three?
All three, hypnotherapy, tapping, and coaching.
Okay.
Maybe people would be interested.
Well, the first thing we do is a free session. Usually takes about half an hour. And we see how the chemistry between us works. Both of us have to feel good about it. It's a collaborative thing. Then if they're afraid of hypnosis, then we just do coaching. If they refuse to do tapping, then we just do coaching. And it's directed by the client.
Okay.
Most people, when they understand and are educated about those three things, want to do all three. And the coaching comes first to get the clarity of what they want and to get the accountability and the follow-up, see what's working, what isn't. And then we almost always do both tapping and hypnosis. I record the sessions so that people can go to sleep to them at night, which is the easiest way to have it get down into the subconscious. Some people listen in the morning or on a break during the day. You can do that too. But it's the repetition that's the real magic.
Right.
Or one of the real magics. I don't think that's a word, but one of the magical things.
Yeah, so just creating new patterns for the brain to follow and that are in line with what people really feel they need to get through or get over. Or
yeah, because again, new things are scary, new things are uncomfortable. Even stuff like when you first start flossing, people have trouble adding a habit that small. Or one way to test it is if you cross your arms naturally, whatever way you would cross them. You could do it right now if you want to. And then cross them the other way. So the other arm is on top. Isn't that uncomfortable? Doesn't it feel weird? Like, oh, am I even doing it right?
Right,
so that's
right.
the natural response we have. And then by having the hypnosis and the tapping to make it an easy path, an open door. The technical term is neural pathways. Our thoughts go in certain neural pathways and they get laid down like a path in the woods and they become deeply entrenched. So we have to do a new neural pathway and make that one that gets traveled enough that it's now familiar. It's now safe. It's now just the way things are.
So familiar, right. And that's where the repetition comes in, that familiarity.
Yeah. Although we get there to a large extent right from the first session, but then really making it permanent and covering all the different situations, that takes a little more time.
Do you think it has a lot to do also with the focused, the presence with, like someone coming into a place where they've made a decision to move forward, and utilize hypnotherapy or tapping? Is it a lot of that mindset shift that also facilitates?
Absolutely. Because now they have the intention to do it and they want to do it. They have opened up that first door. Without
So
that
key.
door opening, nothing's going to happen. That's why if for instance, a husband sends a wife to lose weight or stop smoking through hypnosis, I'll pay for it, honey. You go do it. And then I talk to them in that free session and I realize they don't want to do it. It's not going to happen. They have to
Right.
want it with their conscious mind. It doesn't matter if they have ambivalent feelings about, for instance, stop smoking. Any smoker does. But they have to be able to genuinely say, I want this for myself. I'm not doing it because my husband told me to do it.
Right.
Or my parent or whatever. Like kids are great subjects for hypnosis. But they have to want whatever it is we're working on. So again, that's what we talk about in the first session and get a sense of.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so how do kids respond to the idea?
Oh, kids love the idea. Most kids do anyway. And they love tapping. It's like a game. So I've probably seen more kids for sports than anything. And they right away, they want to be better at soccer or football or tennis or whatever it is. So, once I tell them, yeah, you can do it. And I tell them how athletes use hypnosis and use visualization. Mm-hmm. And I give them examples about that. Then they're all for it.
Kids are so wonderful with their imaginations and their acceptance and curiosity.
Yeah. And adults get better at it when they do this. We have a lot of that shut down through the years. And this is a great way to reopen all that, to reopen your imagination and your sense of vitality and fun and love. Love of what you do.
Mm-hmm. So if you could leave us with one practical tip on how to keep the love in your business and your life, what would that be?
Well, I'm a big fan of Post-its. Post-its on your refrigerator or on your desk, reminding you to do things that make you feel good, reminding you to breathe. We, especially now with so much tension and stress in the world, people are breathing very shallowly. And boy, just taking even 3 deep breaths goes a long way to making your day better and to maybe doing it throughout the day. Certainly getting clear on what makes you feel good. There's a meme I love, you might have seen it, where there's a llama and a little kid that looks like she's maybe Mongolian. And it says something like, do more of what you love to do. So sometimes that has nothing to do with your business, but actually feeds your business because it's feeding you.
Right.
As an entrepreneur, it's really easy to become a workaholic and to not take enough time for yourself, not take enough time, however little, just to enjoy life. And that helps your business, keeps the energy flowing.
Well, really good advice. And so I know we didn't have time to talk about it, but you are the author of 4 books, including a bestseller on Amazon, Staying Young at Any Age.
15 Steps to Turn Back the Clock.
Yes.
I'm 76 and have more energy than most 35-year-olds. And people always ask me for years how I had the energy and how I managed to not look quite as old as I am. And so I wrote a book about it. And it's called an itty bitty book. It's part of a whole line that my friend Susie Pruden put together, where I read books literally about 2 feet high, went through them all with my highlighter, and then compiled it down into this little tiny book that is full of tips to keep you young and energetic and full of love.
Awesome. So where can we find you online and find all the, the itty bitty books?
Oh, thank you. I'm on Facebook and I love connecting with people there. I have a website called Get Results with Hypnosis. You asked me something else. Oh, the book. Go to Amazon, and you can, if you just put in my name, it'll come up. You could also put in Itty Bitty Books, and you'll get hundreds of books that on every subject you can imagine. But if you want this one in particular, just put my name in.
All right.
And Dianna has 2 N's. It will not come up without that second N.
All right. So Dianna Whitley, Dianna with 2 N's on Amazon
Yes.
and Facebook. Thank you so much, Dianna, for being with us today and for sharing your wisdom.
Thank you, Maria. You are a delight. I loved being here. I love what you're doing.
Awesome.
And thank you for allowing me to be part of it.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. And thank you, everyone, for watching The Love of Business. Stay tuned for more great shows at prconnectionsradio.com, the voice of new media.